What a day in Orchard Park, New York, as the Buffalo Bills honored safety Damar Hamlin before the team's season finale against the New England Patriots. New York Post sports columnist Mark Cannizzaro, he was in the building at Highmark Stadium, and he joins me now from Buffalo. Mark, you had a busy day. How's it going?
It's going great, Dex. It was a very, very emotional and powerful day in that stadium today. I got to tell you, it was kind of a once in a lifetimer for me. And I've covered a lot of football.
Yeah, you've covered a lot of football, a lot of sports over the years, and I'm glad you got to be up there and cover it. And Mark, the Bills, they honored Hamlin and those who saved his life before the game. What did you take away from witnessing the pregame ceremony on Sunday?
Well, I've used the word once already, and you'll probably hear it a couple times in this segment. I mean, the word powerful comes to my mind, emotional. I felt like that the entire afternoon was a 3-hour therapy session, really, for everybody in the building, the Bills players, the fans. I spent the day in a unique way. I did not go to the press box. I bought a ticket and sat in the stands and talked to people pregame in the tailgates and hung out and spoke to people in the stadium. So I have a very unique perspective, and it was really, really emotional out there. As you're showing here, these clips. I mean, there was love for number 3 everywhere. I mean, homemade signs, banners, flags, stickers on people's cheeks and faces, and jerseys everywhere. It was just a really unique day, and I thought it was an amazingly cool thing, and I figured they probably would to honor the first responders, the people that saved his life before the game. And unbeknownst to any of the fans, I apparently, after speaking to players after the game, Damar actually text messages. He sent a text out to guys at 2:30 in the morning last night, apologizing for essentially being a distraction, if you can believe that. I mean, you can only imagine what those players are feeling. Him worried about them when he's sitting in a hospital bed in Cincinnati in critical condition still. So, I mean, there were just so many elements and legs to this game, and we can transition into the first play of the game, which was a 96-yard, kickoff return for a touchdown for the Bills, which frankly, I was standing in the stands, and I texted my wife, and I just said, "Did you just see that? I mean, that's like, you can't make that up,
Yeah, you can't make up how the game started, which I think for a lot of people, I saw this on Twitter, people talking about how it gave them chills. The game started, the Bills scored on the first play of the game on a kickoff return. For you, Mark, you were in the stands. Did it feel like fate that the Bills would score immediately? And what was the energy then around in the stadium following that play?
Well, I'll start with the second question first. I have been, as a fan, as a writer, I can't count the amount of stadiums I've been in and rabid atmospheres I've been in. And when Hines took that kickoff back, the place was off the rails. I mean, I don't know what else. I don't know how else to say. I mean, it was like, I don't even think euphoric, because it was just a combination platter of disbelief, euphoria, and just absolute. It was a visceral reaction in the building. The place. It almost was if it felt like they just won a championship. It was just. Off the rails is the best way I could put it. I mean, people were just beside themselves, and it just the energy just carried through. I mean, listen, This was an impossible place for the Patriots to come to today. I mean, they had to win that game essentially to make the playoffs. If they lost, they needed the Dolphins, the Dolphins and Steelers to lose. There was I don't know how they functioned, to be honest with you, in that atmosphere, because I don't think I've been to places that were a more difficult place than this for an opposing team to try to win a game that absolutely positively had to win. I really feel like it was fate that the Bills are going to win this game somehow, some way. I certainly did not think that we're going to see an opening kickoff return, not to mention the first of 2 in the game by this guy who they just picked up a month ago. I mean, you can't make the stuff up. So yeah, I thought it was going to be a difficult task for New England to win. Buffalo's a better team anyway. I always look at the quarterbacks, and obviously Josh Allen is as good as anybody in the league, and the New England quarterback, Mac Jones, has struggled. So, yeah, I thought it was fade all the way, and the result was what I thought it was going to be.
The result is what you thought it was going to be. The Bills winning the game. Do you think, with all the emotions around the team with Hamlin, that this team right now is truly united and that they're primed for a Super Bowl run? This is something that you could see galvanizing a team going forward. Do you see that for the Bills here, Mark?
Well, I think this power it will continue to snowball. Hopefully Damar is going to continue to get better. Maybe we'll get to a point where he's out of that hospital and is able to actually see his teammates, maybe be back in Buffalo, maybe be in that locker room. I don't know. I mean, putting carts before horses here, because he's obviously still in the hospital. But everything we've seen has been positive results. And I can only imagine how much more galvanizing and emotional that can become, if he continues to make progress and he's actually back in Buffalo to see his teammates, before a playoff game or something like that. So, yeah, or out on the field, whatever, you name it. And again, I'm not trying to, accelerate this because we don't really know what his condition truly is. But certainly everything we've seen from the videos that he's put out and his tweets, he seems like he's making remarkably great progress. And how awesome would it be if he's out of that hospital and back in Buffalo before they play a playoff game?
That would be absolutely amazing. We've seen the outpouring of love to Damar Hamlin this week from the Buffalo Bills community. I've seen it as a Pittsburgh alum. I've seen it from the University of Pittsburgh community too, and from all NFL fans all over. So, Mark, we're glad you were able to be there to cover that. Everybody should go check out Mark's column on NewYorkPost.com about detailing the experience at Highmark Stadium on Sunday. It was a great one. Mark, thank you for the time. Safe travels back to New York, and we will talk soon.
Thanks, Dex. Good talking to you as always.
Always.